today we're making this little red truck and Christmas tree macrame pixel wall hanging. Hello friends! For this project you're going to need a 6-inch wooden dowel, 11 3.35mm single strand cotton rope, medium worsted weight yarn in all the colors of our grid, sharp fabric scissors, and it's also helpful to have a macrame board and some T-pins. I'll leave links in the description box for you. Also, I find it handy to have a highlighter to highlight each row as we work on our grid pattern. Speaking of which, feel free to take a screenshot of the grid pattern. Alright, working off of your 6-inch wooden dowel, we're going to attach all 11 cords using a lark's head knot. To tie a lark's head knot, fold your cord in half, and then with the loop end slide that behind your wooden dowel, and then thread the long ends through that loop. Taking a look at our grid pattern here, each square represents a vertical double half-hitch knot, and we work from the left corner to the right. And as you can see, for our first row, it's all blue. Snip off a long piece of blue yarn. I like to work with 60 inches at a time. And we're going to tie our knots around each individual cord. Place your blue cord behind the first strand of white rope with your short tail end on the left and the long on the right. Make a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through that loop. This is only a half hitch, so to complete your knot, you want to repeat the same thing. So make a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop. Now tighten your knot just a little bit, but not too tight because we want to be able to slide it all the way up to the top. Then you can go ahead and make your adjustments. The first knot always looks a little bit different, so let's go ahead and tie the second one together. Place your blue yarn underneath the next strand of white rope, make a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop, cinch that half hitch all the way up to the top, and then repeat. With a loop on your right, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop, and cinch it up all the way up to the top. Slide over your next set of 2 cords and tighten your lark's head knot, and then continue tying your vertical double half hitch knots all the way straight across to the end of this row. Every time I complete a row, what I like to do is highlight the row on my grid pattern. Taking a look at our grid pattern, we went all the way from left to right. Now we're going to work back in the opposite direction. Also, as you can see in our second row, we're going to switch to a different color right in the very middle. Before I start my row, what I like to do is count out where the color change is and then flip that cord up. Alright, now to go back in the opposite direction, you want to grab the same blue strand of yarn, place it over to the left hand side this time, make a loop on your left, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop, and repeat. So essentially it's the same thing we did in the previous row, only we're going in reverse. Now working from right to left can be a little tricky, but luckily this is a smaller pixel and it's the perfect opportunity to practice. And trust me, you'll get used to it by the end of this wall hanging. Okay, so I skipped ahead a little bit. Now we're at the point where we need to change to a different color. Take your blue strand of yarn and place that off to the side. We're going to need it again in just a little bit. Now to attach a new piece, it's just the same as we did at the very start of this project, only we're working in reverse. Snip off a long strand of your white yarn, and this time you want to have your short tail end on the right and the long on the left. Place your yarn behind the next strand of rope, make a loop on your left this time, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop, and then repeat. Make a loop on your left, wrap your long tail end around and through the loop. Cinch up the slack, but remember, don't tighten this knot too tight because we want to be able to slide it all the way up to the top. Don't worry too much about your short tail end, just tuck that behind your work. We will deal with that at the end of the project. But now we need to switch back to the blue. So to do this, what we're going to do is run it underneath the back of our work. You want it under your white rope, but over top of your white yarn. Then you just carry on tying your vertical double half-hitch knots just the same as you were before. For the third row, you want to grab the same blue strand and work back towards the right-hand side this time. Now you're going to find that you run out of length of your cord, so whenever this happens, we're going to attach a new piece, just like we did at the start of this project. Just be mindful of the direction you're going. You always want your long strand to be on the side that you're working on. Alrighty, continue zigzagging all the way down your grid pattern, attaching new strands of yarn as you need. Once you're finished, admire your work for just a moment, because now we're going to have to unpin it and flip it over and clean up the mess on the back. And don't worry, this part doesn't take nearly as long as all those vertical double half-hitch knots. Now what I like to do is find any two strands that are close together and just tie a simple double knot. Then just snip off the excess yarn. For smaller macrame pixels like this one, I usually leave the back just like this, but you can add a backing and a signature if you'd like. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.